Good day, YouTube. It's 23rd of March 2019, and we are going to spend a little time this weekend on the old Boyertown Stepvan. If you haven't seen the other videos on this, there's a lot of videos back from the day that I drug this poor thing home. I thought it could be one of the bigger mistakes that I've ever made, but you know, it has come right around. This thing is powered by a Ford. It's a Ford chassis. It's called a P400 Ford chassis, which means officially it was a 1-ton dually. And it was a dually when I got it. It's a single rear wheel now. It's just a single big rear wheel now. So the 300 cubic inch inline 6-cylinder, obviously you can see it was converted to run on propane, probably in the 70s or so. It has a 40-gallon propane tank on it. And I had all of the tank removed, all the valves and fittings replaced, the hose leading up to somewhere under here replaced, and just give the system a once-over so it would be safe and reliable. And this thing is a lot like just driving a modern fuel-injected vehicle, in that this thing could be sitting for 2 months. All you gotta do is hit the key, don't even hit the gas, and it'll just start right up. Propane never gets old or goes bad like modern-day fuel. So there's no concerns over it just sitting. So when I bought this thing, I did just kind of polish up the points a little bit, and ended up having to replace the condenser to get it to run. Other than that, on the ignition side, I've done nothing to it. Absolutely nothing. It's just been running. I don't drive it too much yet, but it's coming. So as you can see, I got the distributor cap off because in the day, like over 2 years ago, oh yeah, we're being supervised today. Autumn, can you say hi, sweetie? Thank you, sweetie. Okay. I bought a Pertronix electronic ignition conversion for it, but for some reason, I bought the wrong one. I even went back on my purchase just a little bit ago to realize, no, it was totally my fault. The ad was correct. I just bought the wrong one. So I just guess I like spending money on stuff I may never use. It is a Ford, but it's for a dual point distributor or something. Maybe I'll convert it to, maybe I have to do some modifications to the plate one day to make it fit something else. But it's clearly not going to fit this vehicle. The magnetic pickup is wrong and everything. So I went online a little bit more to do a little research to get the right one coming, and Ford made 2 distributors up until 1967, which is what this is. They had an Autolite and a Motorcraft. I kind of always thought they were the same, but they are not. The Autolite distributor, the center shaft will be hollow. The Motorcraft will be solid. So what we have here is the last year for the solid shaft or Motorcraft / Bosch distributor. That could be a tough one. So now I've got to go back on the computer and see if they even offer a Pertronix for the Motorcraft distributor, because it's the Autolite that is the popular distributor. This one was rarely used. My guess is maybe it was just on the commercial industrial engines and things like that, but I really do want to convert this to electronic, so I need to go see about finding one. I'll go see about finding one, and whether I find one or not, the rest of the day will be spent getting the cap and rotor switched over to new and building some spark plug wires. So let me show you real quick. Let Autumn lead the way. Autumn, could we go show them spark plug wires, please? She always waits for Dad. Okay, let's go show spark plug wires. You don't really know what those are, do you, sweetie? Autumn, we're here, sweetie. Over here. Come on, sweetie. Okay, spark plug wires. So I buy plug wire on a roll. Just want to drag it out, put it on my messy bench. This is 100 feet. 7mm spark plug wire, and where are, there we go, I'll find the right drawer of all my fittings and so forth, which I like to keep well stocked on so I can make a set of plug wires whenever I want to. So usually grab these up at swap meets and things and just keep the drawer full so I can make exactly the length of wire that I need. And to do that, you'll want a pair of these. This particular set of crimpers I've had since I was 16 years old when my uncle had his auto parts store, and I got these because they make spark plug terminal crimps. And somewhere around here I have a couple more pair. This is actually a brand new pair, just so I always have a set. Alright, I gotta go dig around a little bit and see if I can get a Pertronix electronic ignition system coming for it, and then we'll get back on getting the rest of the tune-up done, and then we'll have to wait a week to put the electronic in. If none is available, then I guess we're putting new points in it today. Well, they do make one. That's good news. Pertronix 1261 igniter ignition module for 4 to 6 cylinder inline motorcraft distributor, not Autolite distributor. So no matter what, I'm sure I'd ordered the wrong one because I didn't dig into it, do my research. So if anybody needs a Pertronix for a V8 with a dual point distributor, happy to have one. Anyway, we'll make it work in something else, I always do. So I'll get this one ordered and we'll move on to the rest of the tune-up. Well, this is just going to be one of them days, I think. I bought the cap and rotor some time ago at Napa. And again, it's for an Autolite, not a Motorcraft. This is what's out of my engine, and that's what I got for parts. So basically everything I got for this thing isn't going to work. So I'm going to make a run to Napa. It's been 2 years ago since I bought this stuff, but I'm sure they'll make it right with me and get it swapped out. And we'll be back. Well, it took a little looking down there at Napa, but we got the cap and rotor exchange. Those are the part numbers for... This is, believe it or not, the same cap and rotor as would have been used on the original engine of my 56 Ford pickup. That's the inline 6-cylinder 223. That one's been updated since then to a dual point with a Crane electronic ignition. So that one is no longer a stock distributor, but the original distributor that was in there, which I still have somewhere, would have used the same cap and rotor. If that might help you find your cap and rotor, should you have a Motorcraft distributor in your 240 or 300 inline 6-cylinder. So, got the rotor put on. It's a great fit. Got the new cap on there, and we're going to pull plug wires here one at a time. Notice that cap's got all the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spotted on the cap, so you know right where the firing order is. And of course, on an inline 6-cylinder, it's pretty easy to find. So I pulled number 6 plug wire, and my deal is these wires are like 9 miles too long. Hate that. Absolutely hate plug wires that are just the universal kits, you know, and you buy them, you put them on. Yeah, they get the job done, but they hang and they droop everywhere. They're longer than they need to be. Let's just make them fit properly. Plus these are orange and they look goofy. So we're going to start making plug wires here one at a time. I think we'll start off with number 6. Alright, got the first wire made. This is for number 6 plug. I chose the tin copper core for my 7mm high tension cable or spark plug wire, if you will. If you got radio or something in your rig, this is you will want a resistor wire. This rig does not. Most of what I build plug wires for are more for utility or performance and not for something that keeps the radio quiet. So that's what I've chose so far for this. It might be that down the road I buy another roll of resistor core wire for, you know, for more for like a street car. But for now, this is what I am building. So this is number 6. I'll show you how to build one here in a second, but let me go put this one in. And then what I'll do is I just take the old spark plug wires and cut them to length with a wire cutter, and like that one there. And that's how I determine the length of this one. I just shorten it up to what it needs to be to look good in the rig, to be as short as possible and not drag on anything. And we'll make number 5 next. I'll show you how to make it. Well, for some reason my video of making the number 5 plug wire didn't go. I must not have turned the camera on. Anyway, this is number 4 now. And I have my thumb holding on to what would be the place where about I would cut that. You can see it's about 3 times longer than it needs to be. I mean, this is right across from the distributor, and yet it had a foot plus of extra. So I'm just cutting it here. We have to make it too short. Then we'll string out our new wire. About that long. Remember, you got to strip a little bit, right? So we'll give it another inch. Be comfortable. Throw this mess away. Strip this end out. I'm using a really nice pair of Greenlee stainless steel wire strippers. You probably have to go to Electric Wholesale House to get a pair. They're probably in the $25 range. I'm taking one bite and then spinning it. The insulation is obviously very thick. I chose a tin copper core for my plug wires. If you've got a radio or something, you're going to want to go resistor core. But these are just more for utility or performance use. So these would be very reliable wires, and I don't even have a radio in the Stepvan, nor do I plan to put one in it. So let's slide the ends on first. How about? Okay, let's do the silicone ends. This would be the spark plug side. Then we'll do the distributor end. It's like 40 degrees this morning, so these are fairly cold. We'll throw a little bit of soapy stuff on them, so they'll slide a little bit. Quite honestly, I could take a heat gun to them. This would be a little easier to do. Right now they're kind of a pain because they're cold. Yeah, but we're getting there. A little more to go. Made them slippery. One more. Okay. Now then, we'll crimp on the distributor end. Don't put the wrong end on or you get to redo it. We'll fold that over. We'll check it for length. I'm going to cut a little off because these don't need to be too long. Shouldn't really stick out too much past the fitting there. We'll fold that back over. This is wide enough for the wire to sit into, so we'll plug the wire into there. We're not hanging out. Give her a little push. I'm going to pull these down with my crimper a little bit so that they'll go into the other crimper. First thing we're going to use is this one, which is going to bring these copper ears together. If I could have put them a little closer the first time. Alright. Now we can bring them together. We can center it just till they touch, right? This one's going to be a little crooked. It'll be alright. And then we go to this side of the crimper. This is the side that does the business. And we want to crimp the heck out of it. That's what keeps it from falling apart. That one's just a tad bit ugly, but we're okay. Then we'll move that boot down. All right. Now we'll do the other side. We'll give that wire a spin. We'll fold it over. We'll put the spark plug side on the spark plug hole in, the plug wire end. That wire's going to hang out just a tad. We'll nip it. Perfect. We'll fit that again. Fits well. We'll crush these down with a pair of pliers, or in this case my other strippers. We'll go to the rounded side of the crimper again. Good. Just till they touch. We'll move over to the other side of the crimper, and this is where you crimp the heck out of it. There we go. That is not going anywhere. We've got a good connection on the core of the wire, and we'll pull this in to right about there on the boot, and there is number 4. It's wanted to be the shortest wire in the set, and that one's ready to install. Real quickly, I can't remember what I paid for the roll of wire. These still had marked. These are swap meet prices. This was 25 ends for the distributor side, so you could make basically 3 sets of V8 wires anyway. This was $5 for 25 on the spark plug side. These come out to about 50 cents a piece, as did these. So it's plus the wire. So if you had a V8 set, you'd have $1 worth of ends, so $9 because you got a coil wire to make, and then the rest of it. So you can see you can build a set of plug wires yourself fairly economically, and this 100-foot roll of wire will go a long ways because you're not wasting, in the case of this rig, 2 to 2.5 times more wire than was needed. Makes it look ugly, sloppy. If you got headers or something, you've got plug wires drooping down on your headers now. In this case, very custom set of perfectly fit wires. Okay, I'm going to do the rest of them on my own, and I'll check back with you in a little while. So, got all the plug wires made, got everything put back on. All nicely arranged in here. It's a little dark down there, I'm sorry. And I got all the spark plugs changed. And I thought it was interesting. I've never pulled the plugs out of a vehicle that was propane powered. And it's very interesting. These plugs, let's just call them 40 years old. They've been in there a long time. But there is no... Let me arrange these here real quick. Put a few of them out there. There is no buildup of any kind on them. In fact, they're like rusty. There's no black, there's no soot, there's no oil, because there's no gasoline. The propane's such a clean fuel that there's just nothing on them. Of course, I put new ones in it, but who knows how old those things are. So, we made pretty good progress. It's a bummer that I didn't have the right electronic module for this today, but I got it ordered. It'll be here. We'll put it in next week. And then I had a tachometer. I stuck it on the steering column, and I went to hook it up today, just something to do, and it didn't work. So I reached on the shelf because I got a bunch of them, and I grabbed this one and hooked it up, and it does work. So let's start it up. Turn the key. Just as smooth as can be, man. That old 300 cubic H6, just smooth. I put an LED bulb in the tach. Turns out it was a red one. But you know what? I'm going to leave it. What the heck, right? Just going to leave it. It's real easy to get to. It's just from the back side. This tach was designed to cut into the dash. So I just used the bracket and a hose clamp to stick it on the steering column, and it's in a good spot for me. So we'll run with that. Just listen to that. Just like money. And to think they were just throwing this Stepvan away. I mean, well, they didn't do anything with it for 25 years, but just leave it in the field to rot. I've done nothing real mechanically to that engine. I haven't even had the valve cover off of it. Just tune up belts, hoses, starter, alternator, that kind of stuff, thermostat, fluids, and it's good to go. Pretty cool. All right, well, right now I'm going to jump underneath this thing and check transmission, see what the gear oil looks like in the rear end as well. See if it's should be changed or topped off or where it is, and we'll go from there. I'll check back with you. Well, gang, I guess all that's left now is to put all my junk away. The gearboxes, I first pulled the inspection plug out and I thought, oh, that doesn't look good. And then I realized, no, it looks new. So it's amazing somebody took such good care of the mechanics of this old Stepvan and then just let it sit in the field for 25 years. But I'm not complaining because there's no gear noise in this thing at all driving it down the road. The mechanics of this Stepvan are in great shape. I had the front end gone through and I had all the brakes redone. Still original. I got a little play in the steering and I wish I could steer easier, but it is what it is. So we got the tune-up in. I'm kind of disappointed that I got the wrong electronic ignition module, but it's coming, and we'll get that thing replaced next week or something. Got the tack in and working. I do have a set of gauges for this. I thought I would mount just up here on the motor cover, or maybe up here. I haven't really actually decided yet. We'll figure out what looks the best. I like to leave the dash kind of original for the most part, and what I put in the dash for switches and stuff was plugging existing holes. I didn't make new ones, so that's why they maybe isn't as symmetrical as I would have liked it to be. So, gang, we're going to call this a video. Autumn Bear, you want to say goodbye to everybody, please? Yeah, I do. Come here, sweetie. Come on, sweetie. Come on. Okay, good. Thank you, everybody, for watching our video, and we'll see you on the next one there. And my name is Autumn, and good night, everybody, and we'll see you next time. I just thought I'd show you my ducks. These guys come hang out in my yard here at the barn every spring. They were sleeping when I drove in, but I just drove in real quietly. Thought I would share.